You land on the moon. The surface feels like frozen smoke. One step forward and the ground simply vanishes. You aren't standing on rock. This moon consists entirely of silica aerogel. It is the lightest solid known to man. You are currently falling through it. Sinking is an understatement. Aerogel is 99% air. Your spacesuit slices through the structure like a hot knife through a cloud. There is no impact. There is only a slow, terrifying descent into a ghostly blue void. The material resists just enough to make the fall agonizing. Every movement displaces cubic meters of fragile glass lattice. You are a human bowling ball in a world made of cotton candy. Physics demands a price for this lightness. Aerogel is incredibly low density. If the moon keeps its current size but swaps rock for aerogel, the total mass plummets. Gravity vanishes. The orbital velocity required to stay in place drops to nearly zero. The moon no longer has the gravitational grip to hold itself together. Internal pressure ceases to exist. Instead of a sphere, the moon becomes a loosely bound heap of shimmering dust. Earth's gravity begins to tug on the edges. The moon doesn't orbit so much as it begins to fray. Pieces of the lunar surface drift away into the void. You are now falling through a disintegrating celestial sponge. Then there is the temperature. Aerogel is a world-class insulator. It stops heat from moving. The interior of the moon remains exactly as warm as it was when it formed. You are sinking into a giant frozen thermos of primordial heat. The thermal gradient is a nightmare. The surface is exposed to the freezing vacuum of space. The core holds onto its heat with stubborn efficiency. As you sink deeper, the temperature rises. The aerogel doesn't melt, but the trapped gases begin to expand. Small pockets of air burst around you. These micro-explosions propel your body in random directions. You are now a pinball in a translucent labyrinth. The friction of your suit against the silica shards generates static electricity. Massive bolts of blue lightning arc through the aerogel. The moon is now a glowing, electrified neon cloud. The internal heat finally reaches a tipping point. The structural integrity of the silica lattice fails completely. The moon isn't just collapsing. It is essentially evaporating from the inside out. You are floating in a pressurized soup of glass shards and ancient heat. Gravity finally finishes the job. Without the massive rock, the moon cannot maintain a spherical shape. Earth's tidal forces take over. The moon is stretched into a long, thin ribbon of blue smoke. This is the Roche limit in action. The gravitational pull on the near side is significantly stronger than on the far side. The aerogel lattice shears apart. Millions of tons of frozen smoke are ripped away from the lunar core. The moon transforms into a shimmering, translucent ring around the Earth. This ring consists of trillions of microscopic glass beads. Sunlight hits the ring and scatters. The night sky is no longer dark. It is filled with a constant, eerie, iridescent glow. Every city on Earth is bathed in a soft, ghostly light. Sleep cycles vanish. The global economy collapses as the entire human population suffers from chronic insomnia. Birds forget how to migrate. The tides become erratic and weak. The moon is gone. In its place is a giant, glowing piece of space jewelry made of very expensive foam. The ring doesn't stay stable. Orbital decay is inevitable. The glass beads begin to drift inward. Atmospheric friction takes over as the fragments hit the upper stratosphere. Trillions of aerogel particles incinerate upon entry. The sky turns a vivid, permanent shade of neon teal. This isn't a meteor shower. It is a planetary-scale scrubbing. The atmosphere becomes saturated with silica dust. Rain turns into a thin, abrasive slurry of liquid glass. Every windshield on Earth is sandblasted in a matter of hours. Engine intakes suck in the dust and seas. Aviation ceases to exist. The ocean surfaces are coated in a shimmering layer of silica. Marine life finds the water suddenly tastes like a chemistry lab. The heat from the friction of trillions of falling particles raises the global temperature by several degrees. This creates massive, unpredictable storm systems. Hurricanes now carry clouds of abrasive glass powder. These storms don't just flood cities, they sandblast them into smoothness. Skyscrapers are eroded like seaside pebbles. The landscape of Earth is slowly being polished by the remains of its own moon. The world is becoming a smooth, reflective sphere of polished stone. Eventually, the last of the aerogel moon settles. The Earth is now encased in a thin, permanent layer of glass dust. The sky is a strange, iridescent opal color. The moon is officially gone. The gravitational stability of the Earth's axis wobbles. Seasons become chaotic, winters last for decades, summers happen in 3 days. The planet is a shimmering, frozen wasteland of polished silica. All this happened because someone decided that a moon made of fancy foam sounded like a good aesthetic choice. The interstellar community is unimpressed. NASA is forced to file a massive insurance claim for the loss of the lunar surface. However, the claim is denied. The policy specifically excludes acts of God and spontaneous changes in the fundamental molecular composition of celestial bodies. Your insurance provider is probably just as heartless. Subscribe to the What If Club to see what happens when we replace the sun with a giant disco ball.